In this video, I'm gonna review the Bigboi Blower Pro. I'm gonna tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, if I recommend it, and our overall experience with the tool. You can check down below for the link to this one and a few other ones that we've used. Other than that, let's go ahead and get started. So first, let's talk about what's the purpose of a blower. So you want to use a blower when you're detailing to get the water off of or out of the tight areas on the vehicle, right? So after the washing, we all know that once you drive off, you have all this water run down from the emblem, the door jambs, the bed of your truck. So the blower, not just the Bigboi, but any blower, is meant to get that water out of those tight areas. Your emblem, the grill, the trunk, the bed, the wherever, right? Now there's a lot of options out there, ranging from even $70 like we had here from the X Power, all the way up to this Bigboi blower, which I think runs around $450 or $500 after shipping. So there's a lot of options on the market, but the main reason why you want a blower is just to get that water out of the tight areas. That way, once you're done with the vehicle, it is done and you're not gonna have a lot of water just falling down your vehicle once you drive off. Okay, so I'm gonna cheat and have my cheat code here to see the specs. So retail price for just the blower itself is $379. Now, we did a few upgrades to it because we were gonna use it for the shop and we wanna be able to reach the entire vehicle without having to move the blower itself. So we wanted to keep the blower stationary, but just move the hose around. So for the extended hose, that's $60. There's two options for hanging or storing the hose. We went with the hanger, which is an additional $15 instead of the wall mount, which is $50. So all in all, you're probably looking at around $450-ish with shipping included, and so depending on where you live and such. But for us, it's around $450-ish to get it here to the shop. And overall, we have liked it. It is great. There's some pros and cons to each of it, of course, one being the price tag. But if you are, like, this is great for someone that, one, just likes having some of the best tools and products in their garage, right? I'm definitely one. Like, if you look at our gym, there's a lot of things that I could have cheaped out on, but just because I kind of want the best or more of that, you know, that higher echelon of quality, I go and choose and pay like a prettier penny for that product. So if you are one that just likes having the better one, the bigger item, this is definitely an option for you. If you are just getting started in your business and you're kind of trying to see, you know, allocate your funds to get the most that you can within the budget that you have, I would 100% not recommend you get it yet, and go for a more affordable option, which I'll have linked down below in the description box. Maybe the X Power blower, the Metro Sidekick. Not the best, a lot of drawbacks to those, but as far as price, cost, and value, 100% you can start off with a smaller unit and upgrade over time. But if you just want the best, or you're at the point with your business that you need something stronger and you're going through you've already gone through the more affordable options, the Bigboi blower is a fantastic option. Okay, so let's cover some pros, right? Or let's cover all the pros on this one. So we've used, let's say 3 or 4 other blowers, not to this degree of price or size, but for the amount of power that it gives us, it's actually pretty quiet. Especially when you're working towards the back of the vehicle or further away from the blower, it's not that loud for the power that it gives you. The build quality is fantastic. There's not really much I can say that I don't like about it. To be fair, we put the casters on, but we already knew from the very get-go that we didn't want it to be on the ground. We wanted to keep it in a stationary system, turn it on, and be able to move around the vehicle once it's on. So, like, I know Obsessed Garage has some crazy garage builds. All right, we bought a $100 rack, used a $5 bungee cord to strap it down, and that's our system right now, right? We'll contact Obsessed Garage here sometime soon. But overall, the quality is fantastic. But when we did have it on the ground for like a day or so, it moved fantastic. Like it didn't trip. It just, wherever you rolled it, it would go. So if you're on like obviously on a flat, clear pavement, it's gonna work fantastic. You know, if you're on rubble or rocks or on an incline on a driveway, you might have some problems there, but it works fantastic. All the buttons are great. You know, the one thing is the little stick is already coming off. I don't know why, but you know, that's not here, that's nowhere here or there. There's 4 settings to this. You have a full speed and a full speed and a half speed and a half speed. So this really lets you dial in the amount of power that you need based on what you're working on. So let's say you don't have a compressor and you need something to blow out the interior. You can easily just finesse the settings to fit the power that you need to work on the interior, or if you're working on a delicate engine or whatever the case may be, you can really dial in the power that you need. Now for us, I want to say 9 out of 10 times, we're just going full speed on both options just because, you know, again, we're in a business setting, we're working on vehicles. But I can, like, for instance, the times that we use like just half speed, just one half speed, is when we're working on the engine bay and we want to spread the dressing. We'll put it on the lowest setting. That way we can push the dressing into the cracks and crevices of the engine bay so the dressing gets into all the little areas. But short of that, full speed on each one and we're blowing the vehicle down. The handle, if you want to hold it around, again, like we already knew from the very get-go, once we purchased it, we wanted it in a stationary place. So that's why I can't tell you much about the handle or the casters because we didn't heavily use them. But for the day that we did, it worked fantastic. The hose is built great. It doesn't kink up on you like some other ones that we've used. As soon as you just kind of put some friction on it, it kinks up. You don't find that here. Once you turn it on and it expands, it's very easy to maneuver around the vehicle. Now we did purchase the extended hose, so once we turn it on and it extends, we've never had an issue going all the way to the end of the vehicle or the top of the vehicle, even if it is like a big lifted TRX or if it is like some longer vehicle, we've never had a problem. Obviously that's gonna come from where you position this in the first place, right? If we position it 20 feet back, that's obviously gonna put us at a disadvantage. But here we put it close enough to the vehicle where we can just turn it on and work around the vehicle with absolutely no problem. So when we're holding it here, this little rubber section here, fantastic. It's like I would say it's a 10 out of 10 in terms of build quality, in terms of thoughtfulness of how they designed it. It's a 10 out of 10. Obviously the biggest drawback is gonna be the price, but as far as the effectiveness of the tool itself, 10 out of 10. Now let's cover some of the cons. As I just said, the price, it's a little steep for most people, which is why I don't recommend you get this as your first one unless you can just afford the best of the best, because if you're doing this as a business, you don't need to spend that much money on a blower. Again, this one is about $125. This one is about $70. We have another one up here that's around $80 that we don't use anymore. So we've had them on all ranges, right? So just starting off, go with something more affordable and then upgrade to the Bigboi. Not even this one, just a better one than what you have. Now, another drawback though is that if there is, once you turn it on, right, you can walk to the end of the vehicle. But that means the entire time the blower is gonna be blowing. So if we're working all the way in the back and we're done with the back of the vehicle, we have to consciously keep the blower up and walk all the way back to the blower and turn it off for it to stop, right? So you can say an advantage to having a smaller one like this is that once you're immediately done, you can just shut it off and store it. Whereas this, like if I turn it on right now, but I need to get to the back of the vehicle, I consciously have to walk like this so I don't blow anything that I'm not supposed to be blowing. So that in itself is a con, because there's plenty of times where like it would have been great to just like turn it off on the last wheel, set it down and go do something else. But because I have to go shut it off, I'm at the far side, I'm done with it, I have to come over here, turn it off, store it, and then walk back to where I was. Now this is more so of a business setting because we have customers and we have to work through these vehicles, but I don't see this being a big issue if you're working at your home garage as an enthusiast or such. That's just something that I've seen that affects us specifically. Another thing is, not that it's a con, but you do have to upgrade all these things. So if you want the extended hose to work around the entire vehicle without you having to move the blower around, that's an additional $50. Not a lot, but you're already paying $379 for the blower on top of the $50, so that's just going to keep on increasing the price. And this one isn't really a con, more of a nuance, is that because the hose is so long, as you're working around the vehicle and there's water and dirt on the ground, it's gonna get dirty as well. So if you see here, this is like what a clean green hose looks like, and as you come down here, it's much dirtier, much grimier, just because it's gonna continue to get dirty. Now, could you go and clean it once a week or after you're done using it? Yes, but again, we're actually in a business setting, so we use this about 5 times a day. So it just, we don't have, not that we don't have time, but we don't prioritize the clean. It's just because we are in a business setting and things are gonna get dirty and things are gonna get beat up. So we just kind of let it be. But it is annoying kind of when you're working around and this is all extended, and there's water on the ground, and this is just kind of dragging and moving all the water around with you. Not a big deal. It's just a nuance. Obviously, it is what it is. Same thing with the pressure washer hose. It's gonna get dirty because you're working around water and dirt when you're washing the vehicle. So another problem, which I wouldn't really call it a problem, again, more of a nuance, is the power that it consumes to run it. So we can easily attach it to this electrical cord here. Hopefully it doesn't turn on. Is it gonna turn on? We can attach it to this cord here and run it, and it'll be fine. Now, if we put, like, let's say a steamer on the same outlet or an extractor, it's gonna trip the breaker, and then we have to reset everything. So what we do is just, if we're running this, like for instance, we can't run this and the pressure washer at the same time because it's gonna trip the breaker. So we'll put them on different outlets because they're on different breakers. But that is something to take into account, is that, you know, so long ago, if I had the VX5000, and when I take it to customers' locations, like their home location, it would sometimes blow out their, it would trip their breaker, which is why I kind of stopped using it out at customers' locations, just because I didn't want that to happen. So not that it's a big deal, because we can easily work around that, but that is something to keep in mind of where you're gonna be working at, whether it's your home or at a shop or at a customer's location. If you have to run multiple vehicles, equipment off your generator, you're gonna need a much bigger generator to run this on top of your pressure washer or a vacuum or air compressor, which again, you have to keep mindful of, because that can affect your operations or just your home garage, depending on the type of setup that you wanna run. All right, so I'm gonna end the video right here. If you're interested in the Bigboi or any of the other blowers that I have, I'll link them down below. And be on the lookout in the future, so you should subscribe, because I'll be reviewing each individual blower that we have, including the Eagle blower that we have in the van. And also, if I'll be doing a product comparison between all of them to just kind of give you a better look at which one's the best purchase for you, which one's good, which one's not. Other than that, let me know what you think about this video as a whole in the comment section down below. Leave the video a like, as it does help a lot, and I'll talk to everyone on the next video. Bye-bye.